Yeah, that's right. It's nothing but Netflix, and it's me, your host Chappell, back to talk about another Netflix reality show. This time, one that has been going on for the last 3 weeks. Netflix has released Building the Band, and I have a lot of thoughts about it. The finale has happened, it's out. Check it out if you haven't already. And then, take a listen to this because we're going to spoil it all here on Nothing But Netflix this week. So if you haven't heard it, take off and then come back and listen to me and my special guest talk about it. And I had to get somebody who I know knows the boy bands, the girl bands, the pop. She's the one. If you have a guest for a podcast like this, it has to be her. Lovina, welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, to be honest, I did not know that this show was a thing because I'm not like frequently on Netflix anymore. But when I got the text, I just had to tune in. And then I saw AJ was hosting, and he's like one of my favorite Backstreet Boys. I have thoughts on that. But yeah, so I'm super pumped. And now I can just say whatever I want. It was just like the last time we podcasted about, what was it called? Dirty Pop? Dirty Pop.
Yeah, Dirty Pop. Yeah.
The docu-series about Lou Pearlman. And I was like, oh my God, I can like say whatever I want now and provide like, information that they missed, but that was like not a fun topic, right? Like that wasn't like obviously Lou Pearlman, bad guy, but we can just make it fun this time, more fun this time.
Yeah, and this show was definitely fun. Building the Band has been released 10 episodes over the course of 3 weeks. Netflix did this batch drop on us. At first I was kind of annoyed. I'm not going to lie to you. I was very confused because they told us, okay, people were going to be voting for who's going to stay. And if you know anything about the voting strategy, like you got to call in, you got to text, you got to email, whatever, So I was really confused about the format of the actual show. But what I was very surprised about was how they accomplished building these bands. So we got our 3 drops. When drop number 1 happens, I tune in, and the first thing they announce is that these people are going to be finding a band, but they're going to be doing it on voice and chemistry alone. They are not going to see the people who are performing. So Lovina, this kind of felt like a mix between The Voice and like Love Is Blind or something, because they were in the pods and they were singing. What did you think about the format?
I think it's cool. I think it's creative. It's innovative. But I will say, I feel like the pods didn't do. So if you're going Love Is Blind, right? Which I watched, I skipped last season, but like I watched Love Is Blind. And the way that they go about it, like it's the whole purpose of the show. And then of course they take them out of the pods and then they go out and like do what they did on this show. But I feel like when they meet their partner on Love Is Blind, there is some messiness involved where it's like, oh, you're not what I thought you were. It's just like the human experience, right? It's like, oh, I'm not feeling it, and it's human, right? And granted, this isn't you're not building a romantic like relationship with somebody and getting engaged to like a random person you've never seen before, but you're still like building chemistry with the purpose is to build chemistry. So I was wanting to see like some drama of like, oh, the person comes out and starts singing, and then someone like, I don't know, that one girl, Allison, I think is her name. Like I expected her, I expected maybe her to see one of the bandmates and be like, that's not what I was envisioning. But anyways, like I thought, and that's, I don't want anyone to feel bad. Like, I'm not saying that, but like, I wanted some drama in that, but otherwise I think the format's pretty cool. It did kind of drag on a little bit, but in the beginning, but no, it was cool.
Yeah. I totally understand what you're saying. Cause I was thinking, okay, this is cool. You watch a few of these happen. And I was thinking, but where's the meat to this? And there was one moment in particular where we start to see maybe you commit to one band, you say, oh no, I'm looking for a boy band, and then you hear this really amazing girl singer and you're like, well, maybe I need a mixed band, like that was like the little intrigue they gave us. There were a couple cliffhangers where I think it was Donzel was telling people, I'm going to be with you, I promise, and then going back and telling other people, no, I'm going to be with you, I promise. I loved all of that because that was the mess. We did have some fun characters, and we do have a winner here. And so again, if you have not watched this, I'm about to spoil it. Lovina, shout out to Frequency, Nori, Winelli, and Brianna as our big winners here. Overall, Lovina, we're building a band. How do you feel now that we have a new, I guess, essentially we have a new pop girl group in the streets?
I love it. I feel great about it. They were one of my top favorites. I have a top favorite, and I feel like I'm gonna ask you what you think my top favorite is after I finish this. I want to know what you say. But they're probably like number 2 for me, honestly. But because anything that's like, I love pop sound girl groups, anything that's similar to, and it seemed like when they announced Kelly Rowland was coming, they especially seemed really hyped about that. It seemed like they were influenced by Destiny's Child. And if something's influenced by Destiny's Child, I'm there for it. So anything that was like, I'm gonna botch the names. I've already forgotten all of them, but the band, the boy band that's like that had the guy Connor that was like it was like dramatic.
Yeah, they were like the guitar boys. They're like, we're not your typical pop band. We're not, they're like, we don't do the boy band thing. We're they're the boys with the guitars. Which
I was like, that's not for me.
Yeah,
I knew. Not for me. It's like, oh, like I'm like, girl, like then what do you want? Like, I don't know. Then why are you here? What are you trying to do? It's like, at first I was like, okay, like One Direction. I feel like now I'm just going off. I feel like the one performance I really loved from them was The Reason, when they performed The Reason. And I was like, okay, but y'all sound like a boy, like a pop boy band. So like, now what is it? Like, now what is it? But yeah, I don't remember what my point was, Chappell.
Look, let's just talk about these groups. I think that there's so much. We watched 10 episodes and there's so many aspects of the show. But Lovina, I brought you here because I know you're a pop girly, and so I needed to hear. Now, I am not shocked at all that Midnight Till Morning, this band with Zach, Mason, Connor, and Shane, were not for you, because they immediately come out after they link up and they're like, oh, we don't do choreography. No, we're not that kind of group. We're just going to say, I was like, oh yeah, Lavina's not going to like them, because I mean, to me, Lovina, the essence of a boy band is that you have AJ McLean as the host here. What are you talking about?
I screamed when, I don't remember who, maybe it was one of these boys, but they're like, yeah, we don't really do choreo, and looking at AJ, and I'm just like, you're saying that to him. But to be fair, I've said this famously on record that Backstreet Boys weren't as good as choreo as NSYNC was, but like plenty of things they weren't as good at. But there's a number of things. But I just like couldn't stand that. I'm like, okay, so I mean, to be fair, again, I compare them to One Direction, because I'm like, okay, y'all don't want to do choreo and y'all don't feel like a regular pop like boy band. And listen, this might be a unpopular opinion, but I don't really view One Direction or the Jonas Brothers as an authentic boy band. I'm gonna get clocked for that.
They're coming for you.
To do choreo and dancing, you need to do that. I don't care if people are going to say, well, it's not the era for that anymore. They don't do that anymore. That's early 2000s and 90s. Like, they don't, or 80s. They don't do that anymore. It's like, it doesn't matter to me though. Then you're not a boy band. You're just a group. You're a singing group, and that is okay. Yeah. Then wrong program. And like, granted, they never said it had to be a particular style of group, but my host is AJ McLean.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand the assignment. Yeah, like I totally agree. It kind of feels like that's the genre. Like when you say we're building a band and you want to bring these, like, come on, y'all know what the assignment is here. I felt like it was a little like we're trying to be a little edgy, or we're almost too cool to dance. I don't do that. Yeah, so I was very interested to see how they end up doing. They go very far into the show, but it's kind of like if you linked up like all the acoustic guitar players together and just said like, hey, none of y'all are gonna play the guitar, y'all are just gonna sing. And so it's like, y'all should just go start a rock band. Just go start a rock band. Go grab your guitar, get a drummer, and just be done with it. But they were here. They had a good showing. They definitely surprised people. And honestly, Lovina, this was your group with the drama. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
That Connor from Australia would be I don't know. The group almost got torn apart due to love in roughly 3 weeks, Lovina. I think week 2, the group was at odds. Week 3, they made up. Week 4 was the finale.
Can we be serious for a moment? When I saw Connor, I was like, you want to be Harry Styles. And it is what it is. It is what it is. It's not my style, not my vibe. But you know what? Like, that's all good. Whatever. That wasn't the problem. I just had to say that. When he was like, oh my God, Allison is this girl. I'm like, are you okay? Like, she's stunningly beautiful. Of course, like, let's not, but like, your read on people's kind of questionable, because through the screen, I was like, oh my God, this person, like, the darkness surrounding her was crazy. I literally was texting, I was going to say my friend, but Brandon Donlin. I was texting Brandon, and I'm like, because he was like kind of watching the show too. And I'm like, this person is an evil villain, and why isn't CBS contacting her? Why can't we get her for our programs? I'm so confused. I didn't understand the like maybe he needs to like sort something out in therapy respectfully, but I was like, you're going to let her like ruin your, anyways.
Yeah. No, he says, oh yeah, Allison's very pretty. And then we see him drifting and he's like staying out late and coming late to rehearsals. I'm like, y'all, it's been 4 days. There's no way this has escalated to this point. And then you cut to Allison and she's like, I'm fine. You know, like,
doesn't care. I kind of live.
His group is fighting for their life. They're like, she's gonna Yoko Ono us and all this other stuff.
I screamed.
Meanwhile, she's running her band like the Navy. Okay,
barking at them, barking.
I love her. I love her so much. We love a villain. I'm sorry. And like, yeah, and she didn't do anything wrong, but the show at first, I'll say that she was talking crazy to people, but the show was leaning into Allison as the villain from very early on. She, just to describe her for the people who didn't watch, she's got like this very Ariana Grande kind of aesthetic. She got this long ass ponytail. I think she performed the Ariana Grande song. She got crazy voice, but she's so direct. You know, everything she says, she meant it. She said it, and she didn't flinch. She's looking for perfection. You could tell. She's like, I'm a star, and I need people who are going to match my vibe. And there's a big moment in the show where she's torn between two groups. You know, should I go with this group? Should I go with the group that she ultimately ends up choosing, which is which is Sweet Seduction. And
terrible name.
We'll get to that. And so she's talking to Erica, an Australian woman who was like very passionate. She's like, I've been trying so hard. The industry just been beating me down. And she's tearing up. And Allison is just like, yeah, nah, that's not the vibe I'm looking for. Like, you need to move on. She basically told her to build a bridge and get over it. Oh,
yeah,
so good.
I think like she was approaching this show as like, I'm the Nicole Scherzinger. I'm the Beyonce. I mean, didn't she say that?
I think she was thinking it really hard.
I mean, it was. Maybe I'm too like, I just like read people. I don't know, but like it was like throwing up out of the screen to me. Mm-hmm. So that's what I mean. Like there's like an air of darkness around her, which like I live. But like she just felt like, okay, I'm holding auditions. Mm-hmm. You peasants all want to be in my band. Y'all want to do the Pussycat Dolls too with me, and I'm Nicole. Y'all are gonna be Melody and whoever else is in that. I don't even know the girl. Sorry, respect to the girls, but like don't even know. And it even the girls that she ends up picking was not the vibe for me. I don't understand how even when they were talking in the pods, they were like, "We're like sisters," or like, "Oh my God, I want to hug you guys already." I'm like, am I not reading? Are y'all not reading the vibe from this one? Right. Again, you're not? Yes, you are.
They missed it. They had to. But, you know, that's a good point, though. Well, Lo, I think one of the issues is that they only have limited spots for these bands. And if you can't find a third member, then you are cut from the show. We saw plenty of good singers cut, not because they sounded bad. People were clicking like on them, saying, saying, I want to be I'm interested in learning more. But then the vibes didn't match up. And so the pickings were slim by the end. And it did feel like, you know, at some point you just like, we got to just take somebody or you're just going to get left behind. And there's no point in wasting your talent. I think that she comes in, she's very driven. She's talking to, she's very direct. She's talking about how she wants to be a star, what she's looking for. And I think they were just brought in by the idea of what it could be. They were like, there's no way this lady thinks that she's Beyonce. And in fact, she was looking for backup dancers. She did not even think she was Beyonce. She thought she was more than that. Like Nicole and Beyonce actually were part of a group. I think that a part of her, like she kind of wanted them to hold her coat, you know, like it was just like it's her and then it's them, you know. It's sweet.
Yeah.
What was it? Sweet Seduction featuring Allison and Sweet Seduction.
It's like I don't know if have you seen Josie and the Pussycats?
Mm-hmm.
Like the movie, like the 2001 film with Alan Cumming.
Yeah,
I own that film on Apple TV. Like I purchased the film. I like the soundtracks in my playlists, but it's iconic. But anyways, like it's like that. It's like how they were originally the Pussycats, and then when Alan Cumming, evil manager, like hires them and is like, "Hey, you guys are on whatever records, Mega Records or whatever it was called," and it's like suddenly Josie in the Pussycats. Like it's Josie. She wanted to be Josie when Josie didn't even want to be Josie in the movie. So it's funny, but yeah, I saw some people online saying like she didn't even like want to be in a girl band, like not like so she like kind of made it seem like she wanted to be the Beyonce of the girl band, whatever. But people think that she didn't even want to be there at all. Like she just wanted to like get her name out there and star on the show and then like create a solo career. But it's like how?
Yeah, I mean, we now know her. Yeah, but we know her now. You know what I'm saying? Like, if she pop out, I know her TikTok is probably blowing up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
but it's not. So here's my thing. Overall, with these kinds of shows, with full respect to not full disrespect, full respect to American Idol, what it is now, The Voice and all those shows, but like they're not pumping out stars anymore. We found Kelly Clarkson and said one and done, like we're good. And like the X Factor back in the day, like British version, we got One Direction, and American version, we got Fifth Harmony. Like, but it's not giving in that way anymore. So I guess my question is, even with the girls who won Frequency, like, is it going to hit? I would love them to, but is like, not even just Allison, like, is it going to like do something for her career, you know? But I'm just like curious about that.
Yeah. I think that she's a star. I think that like, we're in here talking about her so much because she was one of the stars of the series. It was just the way, like whenever somebody would do something questionable, the camera cut to her, like look at her face because it just wanted to get her reaction to so many things. Some girl said like, "Oh, I think I'm a little sharp." And they cut to Allison and she's like, "Yeah, you are." You know, like so like so for me, that's the type of person that I would love to follow like their career. But I don't know, you know, we haven't seen a show like this, like a new show like this in a while. You pointed out American Idol, it's been on forever. We really stopped caring about the winners a long time ago. I can't even tell you who the last The Voice winner was, like that I've heard on the radio or something like that. Like what? And so they have a unique opportunity because I guess since the show is streaming, you can just go and watch it. They could get new fans every day. I would love to know if these bands are going to stay together. The ones that did not win. I'm confident that Frequency is going to try to push through. They seem like they had a really good sisterhood going, you know, like that was what they were looking for. And they were able to create that bond. But Sweet Seduction, you know, they had their conflict. They were able to squash it. But Lovina, I don't think it's gonna last.
They should not.
I think they would all be great solo pop singers, but I don't know as a group.
Well, like even the judges repeatedly are giving them the same notes, right? Even right leading up to their elimination. It's like, the performance is good and it improved, but this show is a band show. It's a making the band spin-off remake show. It's like we're looking for Danity Kane, but there's those three girls and they were saying like, and Nicole said it herself. She's like, we're not looking for three Ariana Grandes. We're looking for a full band. So that being the critique, like I knew they weren't long for it.
Yeah, I was kind of pulling for them because they were the drama, so I like that, and they sounded good. I will give them that. They sounded really good, and so I was kind of surprised that they went home as early as they did. I mean, we do get our final 6 group, then we whittle it down to our final 3, then our final 2 perform. And so I want to talk a little bit more about some of our people who didn't make it. One of the bands, Solidified, who Liam tells, you need to change the name. You need to change the name of your group. It's ugly. I don't like it. It's so they go by Iconics by the end. And their final performance, was Bye Bye Bye. Now, personally, I was trying to be objective.
Okay.
but they just didn't give me what I needed. I was like, all right, like don't come out here and do bye 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 and then do it like okay. You have a standard. We know how it's supposed to sound. Like that song moved a nation, a world for years, for decades. That song is enough. To this day, if I hear that song, I'm getting up. And they just, why would you do this in front of AJ and do it poorly? Like AJ, like, first of all, you doing okay, and then not even. So I just knew they were cut at that point. But they were so fun to watch them because they, it's the four boys. They're trying to do like the heartthrob thing. They're like, we're gonna do R&B music. We see the two white boys like they struggle with the dancing. That becomes a storyline. One of the guys, Shade, he's like, I'm not getting my shine that I want. And so they were coming together. They sounded great, but they fizzled out at the end. I was wondering, like, when what do you think about the choice to do something like Bye Bye Bye, or even like how I think at one point somebody did a Pussycat Dolls song. Like, why would you do these like songs that the judges and the host have done, or like that they're very familiar with? Like, why would you do that in front of them? To me, that feels like such a risk.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna start going off.
Go off.
Basically, so this was my favorite band. This was my favorite. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah,
like, if you had to
boy
pick,
band.
You knew, and like, so when they performed the Tevin Campbell song,
yeah,
I was screaming. Or when they did the original one, when they came together in front of Nicole and the two choreographers, I believe. You Remind Me by Usher. Okay. I had chills. I don't get chills from boy bands that are not my boys. And like, in response to the Bye 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 situation, I don't care about the Don't Ya. I don't care about those girls that did I Want It That Way. They flopped it.
Yeah, they did.
Honestly, I was offended, and AJ was like, trying to be nice, and I'm like, AJ, like,
you could say
like
it,
what?
AJ,
like, come on. Like, it was not cute, and the way that they changed the song. Okay,
that Don't Ya was awful. I just want to say that Don't Ya was awful. I'm talking about
awful.
It's like, just they missed the mark. It just wasn't it.
You can't like, I don't know. You have to do songs like the Tevin can. Like, you have to do like Usher. Like, I don't know. For me, a boy band. I'm going back to my definitions. A boy band, from what I've grown up with, as we know what it is the pop R&B vibe. And that's what it is for me. And I think Liam gave the critique for them of like, I want them to like get out of their comfort zone with the song. And I yelled at the screen, no, keep them here. This is what's working. And this is what worked for my boys in the 90s, and they became the biggest boy band on the planet at the time, and the highest selling at the times, and performed with Michael Jackson at the Grammys and shit. So like, I don't agree with that. But so the thing I wanted to go off on was like, I hate when they change the song. Like, you can't change the vibe of the song. I'm really critical. I'm so critical about the boy band songs. So when I heard that, I was just like, and if I hear it on like Dancing with the Stars, they'll have a boy band 90s night or whatever, and they'll do like Bye Bye Bye. Obviously it's right there. And I get pissed. I'm like, who's that singing it? And also, you don't dance like that to it. I'm so like protective over it. And I was even protective over I Want It That Way. Like, what? But I don't know. Like, another thing too is like, a thing I was critical about was these bands, most of them like were not harmonizing at all. Like, they weren't harmonizing at all. You need certain people to fill certain roles. Like, you need a Lance Bass, and you need your Joy Fatone, and then you need your Chris Kirkpatrick because you need the high, and then Lance fills in the low, and then JC and Justin are the two leads, and then Joey is the baritone. So it's like, for me, I'm like, where's that? Where's the Lance? Where's the Chris? Where's the Joe? For the boys. So I don't know. And even the girls too. I'm like, you guys need to have people fill the roles. And I think that's also why I'm so biased towards NSYNC when people ask me, because the Backstreet Boys don't even have all those roles filled. It's just NSYNC. And to me, that's pure perfection and how it should be. And I get you can't find that everywhere. But it's like just my expectations. And that's why I'm so critical, because I'm like, this was the best. And you're trying to make a boy band in that same realm with these boys. I forgot the name. I already forgot the name of my favorite contestants, but
well, they changed their name. Yeah, they go from being solidified.
Yeah,
and then Liam basically was like, I can't say that. I'm like, people are going to hear that, they're not going to know what it means. You can't. It doesn't read across because soul is not spelled like that. So he said it's confusing. They switched it to Iconics. What do you think about that name?
Hate it.
I didn't like any of the names except. None of them. I'll give Frequency their thing. It took me a minute. It took me a long time. But I finally bought it and I said, I see. Once they came together and they started to mesh, I said, all right, I'll give you that. But it took a minute. All these names were just so uninspired. Maybe midnight to morning is fine.
It's cute. I think it works for what they were going for, because they weren't going for the boy band look, obviously. But, and see, I want to criticize all of them. But if you really think about it, Chappell, think about the golden age. Think about, look at how NSYNC's written out. It's got an asterisk in the name, like with love to my boys. But we can see it that way. And also Five. Yeah, Five. Just FIVE, the British boy band. 98 degrees. Okay, 98 degrees kind of eats.
That's kind of a good name. Yeah, that's kind of a good name. Well, okay, look. Well, since we're here, okay, O-Town, yes or no?
For a name?
Yeah.
No, because what the hell does that mean?
I think it was isn't it they were their actual town that they're from or something like that? I don't know.
Oakland is not. They're not from Oakland.
They're not from Oakland.
I would know. I would have known.
We would have done our research. We would know if they were from Oakland. I'm trying to think of who else stands out as a interesting. S Club 7 was a band.
So okay, we haven't talked about
season 4.
Season 4, which is a terrible name.
Wait. I thought it was an okay name until they explained it. I think Nicole Scherzinger said, yeah, because they each add their own seasoning on top. I said, boo, get this out. What the hell are you talking about? They add their own seasoning on top of things?
I thought they were doing the 4 seasons.
No, Liam tried to make it that. Liam was like, so it's the 4 seasons? And she was like, no, it's seasoning. It's a double on top. I was like, no.
You made that up, Nicole. You made that up.
She made up a lot of stuff, but I'm gonna let her make it right now. We'll get to her.
But yeah, I think so S Club 7, that I was thinking of do I okay, again, I'm biased to the boys and the girls, duh, but and especially the boy bands, but I was what can I compare this to? And I'm an 18s or an S Club 7, but those bands were all super Euro pop. Those bands were all from Europe, from Sweden or Germany, where it was really big at the time, and it just works. And also there was 12 of them at all times. A lot of them. Yeah. So I don't know, it wasn't that vibe, but their voices together, I think it could have been similar to, I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, but Pentatonics.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Yeah. I talked to Mari about it because she was texting me. She was loving the show. And I was like, why are they so hell bent on having a mixed group? To me, I'm I was like, okay, think back to when this actually works. I think the K-popers do it right. I think they're the only demographic that's doing the mixed groups right now is the K-popers. I was like, but as far as American centric, bands, Pentatonics, and then Fleetwood Mac, who else are you looking at as inspiration? To me, it just felt like y'all just all your own voices and thought okay, we could all put our interesting voices together. But I was like, but that doesn't make a band to me.
That's what I meant by they're not harmonizing on this show. Well, they are, but
this group was.
They were, but you know what I'm saying? They kind of just put people with good voices together, and we didn't care about the harmonies. Building a band in real life, I'm going to talk about NSYNC again. When they were coming together, Chris was trying to find people. So he identified Joey and then JC and then Justin, and they were looking for that 5th person, but they were specifically looking for a bass. And they had a guy, then I don't know what happened. I forgot what happened with the guy. And then they're like, well, there's this other guy. And then we got to talk. He was really young. So we got to talk to his mom, flying him out from the South. And then they sang together and everyone got goosebumps and they were like, this is the one. But I understand it's a show and they're in pods and all that stuff. And they're not going to ask each other, do you sing high? Do you sing low? What do you sing? Do you lead? Like whatever. Like I get that, but that's just like the way that I thought it would be because Chris Kirkpatrick set the tone. Like, I don't know. And like, that's what I wanted from all of them, all of the groups. And I think for some of them, it just happened to work, with these guys, it did.
You sound like Kelly Rowland. Kelly Rowland throughout her judging critique for most of them was like, find your role in the group, and I think that's what she was trying to tell them is that like, all of you could be lead singers. But all of you cannot sing lead. Kelly would know this better than most people. She had her role in Destiny's Child. Beyonce had the lead part most of the time. Kelly would take like the second lead or whatever. Michelle killing the bridge. We all know Michelle coming in with her bridge. Like that was their role. So when they went to sing together, they already knew which note I was going to hit. Like if we're doing a harmony, I know I'm always on that note. I'm always going to be that second word. I feel like these people were still trying to figure that out. Whereas like if you build a band from scratch, like NSYNC did, what I'm looking for. I know what pieces I need. It's like, yeah, you have a great voice, but you're not singing the part that I want you to sing. And you're not going to be okay with being in the back. Like you're not going to be okay with not having the main verse. I think that's kind of some of the issues that Iconics was having with Shade kind of being like, I think in the Tevin Campbell song, he was like, man, where's my part? And it's like, that's not for you this time. That is, Malik got it. That, he's got the Tevin voice, like you will have your moments. But sometimes your role is just the moments. You don't have to be the person leading the song. And so I think that's a very good critique. Kelly kept saying it, but I don't know if they ever picked up on it. I think they were like, because who wants to be the guy to be like, okay, you got the lead. I'll just be in the back. Like, I don't think any of them see themselves as like almost like second fiddle. No. And so it might have been hard. They are young,
That's the thing.
Yeah, they don't have any management. It's like, they got Nicole showing up and just like, taking credit for all the good work they do. That's it.
Yeah. I also think that most people don't realize that bands like this are formed that way, right? And so they're coming on. Another thing too that I noticed, which like this is not me trying to do like old man yelling at cloud, get off my lawn, vibe boomer take, but like they were coming into this like, ooh, cute. Like I want to be like, this is how I would be. Let me be fair. Like, I'm like, I want to be in a cute girl band. Like, yes, like let's do fashion. Like it's such a vibe. Like let's curate our aesthetic. Like I'm into that. And I think that's like what a lot of them were doing. So they're not thinking about like the fundamentals of what a singing group is, right? The way Kelly's trying to do it, the way Chris Kirkpatrick did it in the past. Like, I don't think they're thinking that way. So I also think that they like, I don't know. I feel like they're not, I lost my train of thought.
Well, with them being like in there between like the ages of like 20 and 25, I think it's really hard for them to get out of their head of like the vision of what the band is going to look like, the aesthetic, all that stuff. Because again, they picked each other based on their voices anyway. So they didn't get a chance to be like, oh, you dress like I dress, or we like the same clothes, that kind of thing. It's kind of like they met each other. It's like, you want to wear blue? And it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna wear this blue. It's like, I don't like that blue. Exactly. And so it's like they're now trying to live out that fantasy when they really should be focused on the music. Like if the music is good, the rest will fall in place. But there's so much thrown at them. It's 4 weeks. I feel like this show honestly definitely moved a little fast. We saw people struggling, like they hadn't been getting a lot of sleep. Their voices were not really holding up. I think one of our winners in frequency, Nori, she was like, my voice is gone. I don't know what I'm going to do. And so it's very intense. They just met each other 4 weeks ago, but in less than a month, they're performing to be a group that will one day be like famous and tour and stuff like that. They might live together. All that kind of stuff. You did all that in a month. American Idol is eliminating one person a week. The Voice is really eliminating one person a week. They're like in the deep end instantly. And so if your mind, I guess, isn't on like what it looks like to be a professional musician, and you're thinking more like what we look like as a band, I think you might miss the mark. I think the only one who was probably on point was Allison. She is our villain, but she was not distracted. Okay, she didn't even let Connor distract her. She was on point.
Yeah, I don't think she was that as interested in it as he was in general. But yeah,
Mm.
I mean, to your point, also like American Idol back in the day, like the budget, the Fox, but was it on Fox? I think it was on Fox. Like the Fox, like big network budget is like way, I'm assuming way higher than for this like smaller Netflix show that's just getting on its feet, season one. Like they're not going to rent out those like bougie condos or wherever they were staying for like more than that they did, you know? Like in American Idol, they've got them probably up in a hotel in Hollywood and all that stuff, like at least back in the day. I mean, I'm sure they still do, but like that's huge network backing. And like, I don't think it's the same thing for that. So yeah, I mean, it is like a test run on doing all this stuff, to your point. But yeah, I do feel like, I remember what I was going to say before. I do think that it is like, they were very much focused a lot on the wrong things sometimes, but that's like, again, not to sound like old man yelling at cloud, but that's very Gen Z. A very Gen Z approach to things is like, what's the aesthetic? What kind of core is our band? Like, what are we, like fairy core? Like, what's the like? And I love that. I'm with y'all. Like, it's very cutesy. I'm with you. But yeah, and I think like again, so what I was going to say was when I was speaking on like the fundamentals of creating a band, like people don't know or think about like breaking it down, breaking the voices down that way. So I follow a YouTube channel that breaks down boy band and girl band songs by voice. So when the person's singing, it like flashes it's really cool. I'll send you one after. It flashes their picture, like everyone else's grade, and then it just flashes whoever's singing in that moment. So it just kind of shows you like the way the voices flow together and like embed over each other and stuff like that. And it's like super interesting. But like then you have common things that I grew up seeing, like, oh, why doesn't Howie Giroux sing? I don't ever hear him solo. Why? Or like very common YouTube searches are like Joey Fatone singing, or he competed on The Masked Singer and ate because his voice, let me tell you, it gives me chills. If you have not seen Joey Fatone on The Masked Singer, please look that up. He almost won and should have, as the rabbit. But yeah, like people like search that because they're like, well, what do they sound like? It's like, but I understand where they're coming from. And they're like, they should have gotten more solos. I'm with y'all. First of all, check out the Christmas album if you're curious. But they don't get those solos because that's not their role, right? It's not it's kind of like what I said was Kelly was saying is like, not everyone's just going to be solo. Because if that's the case, it's just 5 or 4 amazing singers, which was the issue with Seduction or what the girlies or whatever they were. Like that was the main issue with like all the people that got eliminated early.
Sweet Seduction had one good performance that really stood out to me. I think they did Emotions by Mariah Carey, and I was like, oh yeah, they was hitting the high notes. They was doing the things. Yeah, and so a lot of good standout performances from these groups. I want to give them all like their flowers. You know, we like talking about the format of the show more than anything, but they were all very talented. I hope that they all go on to have long, thriving careers. And also a big shout out to the people in the pods who didn't make a band, who also were killing it. Some of the performances in the pod were really, really good. Cameron from season 4, he was the guy who's more androgynous looking. He was talking about how his voice, people normally think he's a woman and XYZ. His moment was one of my standout moments from the season. We see all these people listening to the voice. They don't see Cameron. We don't see Cameron at home. They're keeping him disguised. And you just hear this amazing voice singing this Ariana Grande song and honestly killing the Ariana Grande song. And I'm thinking, okay, well, who is she? And then they cut to Cameron, and you got girls who are like, oh, I'm looking for a girl group. Cameron, you'll be the best for my girl group. And he's just like, hey, sorry, hate to tell you this. Not a girl. But his performance was so good. I think that there were a few others. I think Jenna D, who ends up being a part of Siren Society, another bad name. It's just so bad. I don't know. Maybe we should like do like a whole podcast series on like how to make a good boy band / girl band / mixed band name. You know, just the title, because it just didn't give me anything. But she had a good performance. I think she did Too Little Too Late by JoJo. So there were definitely a few standout performances. They were picking the right songs a lot of times. You know, a lot of them knew what to do. Find you a nice pop song, put your own spin on it, but don't go crazy. You know, or like find you a pop song and make it R&B. But I think there were definitely times where they tried it and it didn't work. I know we talked about, was it Don't Ya?
Yes.
It's like the song is not even that much of a singing song. It's very like, I
No.
know you like me, I know you do. Like, it's nothing to it. It's not, you're not belting, don't you? And I was like, that song don't require all of that. And then when I went to go do it, I was like, it was never going to give you what you wanted. It's just the Pussycat Dolls have tons of songs that would have worked for that.
Stick with you.
Stick with you. Come on. It's right there. It's right there. So
like if y'all needed a song from each of the people's bands or whatever, for me, it's Stick With You for the Pussycat Dolls. And if you need a Backstreet Boys song, Shape of Your Heart. Give me like a ballad, like a pop boy band ballad. I feel like we didn't get enough of those either. Like for the because like also a lot of them, we only had one real boy band. So we didn't really get that much, but their song choices were fire.
Yeah,
and I said it already, and I'll say it again.
No, I really enjoyed their choices too. I think they did "Sure Thing" by Miguel, and I was like, "This is good. This was good."
Oh my god, it was so good. Boy bands need to be R&B.
I mean, points are made. Midnight Till Morning did the Goo Goo Dolls. I think they did Iris at one point, so that was cool. But they did this random backflip, and everybody was like, "Backflip!" Boo, boo, boo. So yeah, the choices were fun. I loved Kelly Rowland as a judge. I think that in a lot of these shows, we get people like, it's for TV, right? And nobody wants to look like the bad guy or the hater who's always saying something negative or whatever. But I feel like Kelly and Liam were so honest with their critiques. Oh my God. It was like, if they didn't like it, they said they didn't like it. They weren't like, oh, well, you got it. You're better time. Next time it'll be. No, they will be like, hey, here are the things you did well, but here are the things you need to work on. Kelly was really good at that. And then, of course, Liam Payne, Lovina. It's very odd watching Liam Payne in this role, knowing how he has met his tragic end. And to me, there were moments where he would be talking and the crowd's going wild, and the boys are saying, like, you're the part of the reason why I even wanted to be in a boy band and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, it's so touching, but at the same time, it's so sad that there was so much love in that room. And I just wish he was still around to feel it. How'd you feel seeing that Liam Payne was going to be a judge and then experiencing watching it on TV?
Yeah, I kind of forgot that he was going to be. Like, I had heard about it. And then again, like I said at the beginning, I forgot that the show was happening until the podcast. And then I watched the first episode, and AJ opened the series with like, we're dedicating the whole series to him. And I was like, oh my God. Like, when I heard that, like, okay, so growing up, I was like, not old for One Direction, but I was like, I grew up on the ones I grew up. You and I grew up on, And so when the Bieber fever was happening, and then One Direction came through and was like, oh, now we're top dog, I was like kind of into it. Like when I first, like when Justin Bieber, for example, like had like his little film in theaters, I went and I watched it and I was like into it. And then I dropped off and fell back to NSYNC. And then One Direction came through and I was like, I'm into it. When it did come through, Liam was my favorite. I was like, he's the most like cute one. Like I was like, oh, he's like the most my type, like at the time, whatever. And I was like, he's the cutest one. Love him. And then, so I like forgot all about that. And then again, I fell off and went back to NSYNC. But, like it's sad when like, just like, I was reminded that they were only together for about 5 years, which is like kind of crazy. And they like took the world by storm. It's just like generational talent. And to see that stripped away from the world is so devastating. I was shocked when it happened, but I'm happy that, and I believe this was his last project before as well. So in a way it's like really, of course, really sad and just like hard to watch, but I'm happy that we have it on record, like we can watch it and see like him. And to your point, fantastic judge. Like the judging, I texted you earlier today. I was like, the judging is so good because it's authentic, it's honest. Like if you watch, not to pivot the conversation away from Liam, but like the current status of like singing competition shows, I don't watch, but my parents are into American Idol these days. It is so bad. It is so bad, with full respect. Like Carrie Underwood, girl, do you even want to be there? You don't want to be there, girl. You want to be at the inauguration. Anyways, girl, like she's not saying anything. Like, and who is it? Who's the other guy? The Australian guy? Is it Australian?
Is it Keith Urban? Is he still on there?
No, it's
Dear
not.
God.
No, it's no. Who's the other? Who's the country guy? Blake Shelton? No.
No, there's no way Blake's hosting that show. Who's on there? Is it Luke Bryan?
Luke Bryan, sure. Yes. Really nice. Seems like a really cool dude, but like give us nothing. The only person who's like kind of giving something seems to be Lionel Richie, but that's a legend.
Right,
so like
I
would assume that he's got something to say, like Kelly Rowland, right? But even that, like, it's like they tell them, like, sorry, we're going to be nice on this show and we're not going to show any fails and we're not going to critique. So it kind of drives me crazy. So this was absolutely a breath of fresh air.
Yeah. And I love that when you have a judging panel, it just feels like you need to have your token British guy, you know? And it's just like every time he talked, I was like, see, it's giving me the old Simon Cowell days, the old Nigel Lithgow from So You Think You Could Dance. You just need, you gotta have one on the panel. And so every time it happened, I'll just smile a little bit like, these are the recipes that we lost, y'all. You know, like, you just don't make it like this anymore.
They weren't there.
Yeah, they weren't outside with us. What did you think about Nicole Scherzinger as our main host / mentor to these groups?
I liked it. I think it's good and it makes sense. And I understand why they did it because she is the person who formed One Direction. And I think there's like that iconic X Factor clip of her literally forming the band, like the overhead. I don't know if you've seen it, the overhead camera, and she's pointing at the pictures and like putting it together. It's fascinating to watch. So I think that is the reason, right? And I think it was a good choice. I mean, who else would you really put in that role? Is there anyone else that you could think of?
Ooh. Oh, Lovina, that's tough. Like, does it have, okay. So
it doesn't have to be a woman.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've been talking about NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys a lot. Is there anybody from NSYNC that you could have seen kind of hitting one of these roles? Maybe Chris?
Chris is got of course, the brain for it and like the eye for it, but he's too fucking goofy. I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm supposed to. He's unserious as a person. So like him in a serious coaching role, he can't do it. He can't even sit still. Like, I don't know if people are like very familiar with him. I know they watched him on Celebrity Big Brother and didn't like him. And I was upset, but like he is cracked. He needs to be cracking jokes at all times. Like he can't coach. So while I want him to be the pick and should be the pick, like his mind is there for it, but like he wouldn't be able to like sit still. And also he's like touring right now. So like whatever. But like, I mean, and then like JC, I would cry, but he won't do it. So there's that. Lance, bye. He's not doing it. Joey's on Broadway. So like, no, Justin's still touring and would never do it. That's Bestie though. And then like, I mean, I would love to see AJ himself as the coach. And like Howie Duro has my heart. Okay. Howie, listen to Howie sing my favorite voice on the Backstreet Boys. I said it. And I think that I think he would be great at it. Yeah. Maybe what Spice Girls? I don't know.
Well, no, that's a good point. Scary Spice, Mel B, she's out here somewhere. She was definitely, was she doing the X Factor for a bit or The Voice or something like that? She was on one of those shows, I think.
Not
America's Got Talent. Yeah, she was on one of them.
That's Heidi Klum and Sofia Vergara. I think it was X Factor.
Yeah. So there's some like Mel B's out there for sure. Yeah, I think that we could have like maybe Chili from TLC. I think that I think she's got, that's a huge name though. Like I was like, I don't think they deserve Chili. No, y'all can get to her in a second. But I think Nicole was really good. I definitely think she kind of was looking at them as like, these are her babies, and so I think her critiques were probably the nicest. She was kind of like there was definitely a moment where season 4 was just kind of like, they did some performance. It was really bad. It was Anita Baker's, I want to say Sweet Love. And I was just like, hey, don't do that again. And she was like, somehow it works. I was like, no, it doesn't. I understand you like them, but it doesn't work. That song does not require all of that. You didn't need to do that. And so they got those critiques. Kelly, of course, stepped in and made sure she said it. But, aside from that, I liked Nicole in this role because she is the face of one of the groups, right? I think in the beginning, people didn't give the Pussycat Dolls what they deserved. It kind of felt like, I don't know. The Pussycat Dolls kind of like, it was very gimmicky, like she talks about it too when she's talking to some of the girl groups here. She's like, sex appeal back then was very much something else. Like we were performing our sexuality for other people and, trying to entice other people. Where now, generationally, you kind of could be sexy in your own skin and how you want to be. Whereas back then they had a mold and they were basically like burlesque dancers who did pop music.
Victoria's Secret models.
Exactly. Baddies. Okay. And so, but she was a standout voice. Obviously, I think they've had other reality shows where they were finding the next Pussycat Doll. I remember that. Ooh, showing my age. So I think she fits the mold here. It was definitely fun to watch. I really enjoyed the concept. It was different. I thought it was kind of fresh to take like another Netflix show like Love is Blind and turn it into something like this. But I don't know. I haven't really been in the streets. Lovina, could you see this having a season 2? Like, do you think it could ever be successful enough for any of these groups to where we would be like, let's do it again?
I do think that America is starved for girl groups right now. So them being the winners is good. I don't know if unfortunately, I don't know if a boy band winning would have done the same thing. I think
Agreed.
that there is like a girl, like, Cat's Eye, which is apparently not I was not sure. I'm not privy to K-pop at all. I don't know anything about it. I respect it, but I don't know anything about it. It's not really my niche, but I thought they were. Apparently they're not, but they're adjacent. But like, that's like the closest thing. Like their song like went viral on TikTok, Gnarly. Like I understand why. It's kind of a bad song, but like I understand why. So it's just kind of like one of those things where I feel like they could do well. As far as a season 2, I think you're right. It's dependent on the success of the winners. I'm curious. I'm going to be following them. I'm very curious to know and see like how they do. But also, I don't know if this show made enough noise for them to like do anything, which is kind of crazy because I feel like the people involved with the show were pretty top tier. Like AJ McLean is a big name. And even though like he's tainting his legacy by releasing Millennium 2.0 as an album.
You needed to get that on record on a podcast, didn't you? You were like, I've been dying to say this.
Why would they do that, Chappell? Why are you performing at the Sphere and releasing Millennium 2.0? It flopped. Okay, anyways, I'm pissed. See, this is why people are like, well, what about the NSYNC reunion? And I'm like, I'm cool. Just leave it. Leave them there and be iconic. It's fine. But anyways, I keep doing that. Sorry, listeners. They're probably annoyed. But yeah, like I think they're big names. Like Nicole Scherzinger is a big name. Liam Payne, like come on. Yeah. And Kelly, like holy crap. I feel like those were big gets. So I would like to, I'm curious to know the numbers.
There's a show on Netflix. It's Rhythm and Flow, I want to say maybe is where they're finding like it's like a like this, but like to find a rapper basically. They're looking for like the next rapper or whatever. Who knows? But every season they change the judging panel to where like it's like they bring in big names, and then like one year was Chance the Rapper, and like two other, and I forget who else was on there, and then this year was somebody else. I could see them switching this up, but before we wrap up, I do want to cast what season 2 would look like. We need to have judges from these groups. Lovina, you and I, between the two of us, we know the people who should be in these roles. Let's cast our judging panel and our host for season 2. Because I'm firing Nicole. She did her job. She won a Tony. She's too big for us now. We got to go somewhere else. We talked about, your Backstreet Boys and your NSYNC, but you have to choose one. Who do you have?
Just one.
You have to. We've talked about the options, but you have to have one on the judging panel. You can't have both on the judging panel.
JC. I'm picking JC because he's judged. He's judged.
Agreed.
America's Next Best Dance Crew was looking fine as hell, by the way. And he's been a little bit more outside recently. Like he put out an album, which he sounds incredible on recently. And he wrote I believe it was this is bad, I'm a bad fan, but I believe it was a play that he wrote, and that's like the music he wrote for it. So he's been a little bit more outside. He's been attending events and going to Justin's shows with the boys and stuff. So like I could see him like getting that offer as well. I think he's a huge get. That's a huge get in my opinion. So that's who I'm going to lock down because like it's me.
No, that's fair. I know we talked about the Joe Bros, right? But wasn't
Mm,
one of them hosting the Claim to Fame? Was it Kevin?
Kevin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kevin. I think Kevin would be good. He's fun on Claim to Fame.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
loved them on Claim to Fame.
I think Kevin should be the host. I think you let Kevin come in and he'll be the host this time. I don't think he can be on my judging panel.
No.
He's no. I think if you're gonna get somebody on your on your judging panel, I think you definitely, no disrespect to him, but I think you go with Nick or Joe. No,
They
sorry,
sing
Kevin.
more.
Yeah,
It's true.
sorry,
They sing
Kevin.
more. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but I think for a host, I'd go with Kevin. But we still have two more judging spots. We need a woman for this panel. What you thinking?
For the women, I want a Spice Girl.
Ooh,
Give me
I
Mel
think.
C.
Ooh, come on, Mel C, the switch up.
Mhm.
Okay, what is she up to these days?
The last time I saw her was something very offensive, unfortunately. Not like that. Not like that. Not like that. Oh my God. I just realized how that came off.
I
Offensive
was
to
like,
me and
sporty,
my
no.
offensive to me and my culture. But a couple years ago, maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago, they did like a special on ABC called A Very Boy Band Christmas. And of course I was tuned in because Chris and Joey were there. And a couple of other people I don't even remember, some 98 Degrees boys. I don't know. They're performing. And of course I watched it. It was a terrible program. I was deeply offended because they performed Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and they gave Justin and JC's vocals to someone from O Town. I can't live that down. I can't. I won't live that down.
Wow.
Why can't Chris do it? Confused. But yeah, so anyways, Mel C, I guess like made a cameo and there was like a joke of like I think she was on Dancing with the Stars at the time. So she like was with ABC anyways and like she like came on this stage and was like, "Oh my gosh, we're doing a very girl band Christmas across the lot over there." Or like whatever. That was like the last time I saw her. So I think the last time she was outside was like that year. She was on Dancing with the Stars. I could
Okay.
see it.
I can see it. I can see it. And then I want Chili on the panel. I think that if we can get
Yes.
Chili from TLC, you got to. One of the most successful girl groups of all time. One of the most successful groups of all time, period. Like ever. I think you bring in that panel, you got the same star power, you got different perspectives, and I think that it works because you're kind of right. We don't have this kind of stuff in the US right now. Like I still say the K-popers are doing it right, but they over there. I think here we need to bring that energy back because we've been clamoring for pop to come back. Lovina, they don't want Tate McRae to have the mantle. Exactly. They don't want Tate to have the mantle. They don't really want to give it to Dua Lipa. They're looking for the next person who's going to carry us into the new age. Look, Charlie XCX, I see you. I see what you're doing. I'll give you that. I see.
That's my sister.
I see the girl. I look, and you see me paying homage. I ain't gonna play with her.
That girl.
Okay, look at the material. So I'm gonna give her that. But I do think we're starved for that energy of like, we come from the era where there was just a billion pop stars and a billion groups. It was just like
we need Britney.
We need but we need like Britney and then her carbon copies. We need like all the Britney versions.
Christina.
You need the Britney, you need Christina, you need Jessica, you need Ashley, you need all you need all and then you need the younger version of them. You need Hillary Duff, you need Allie, we need AJ. Bring the pop girls back, man. What are we doing?
It's been a nothing. And be like, oh well, Sabrina, and they're like, which by the way, Charlie's like more like hyper pop, so I'm taking her out of the combo anyway. She doesn't even right. She doesn't even want to be like pop. Like she's like pop, but like anyways, like they're like Sabrina and Chappell, Chappell. See, I keep doing it. When I first heard of her, I was like, "Oh, Chappell Roan, like who's that?"
Her name. Yeah.
It's not giving to. Sorry, ladies.
With
respect, it's not giving to me. It's not giving what it should to me. And it's also like they debut was what I'm noticing. I understand the times, but like they debut and then have a run and then bye guys. Like then there's someone new. It's like Olivia Rodrigo is that girl. Like I will give that woman her respect. And I see her pop up, but it's like she had her debut and then it's like now it's Sabrina. And then it's Chappell. It's Chappell. And then it's like I saw like people weren't happy with the new Sabrina teasers. People weren't happy. I saw it today. The people, so I don't listen to Chappell Roan, but like people were posting a Chappell Roan single teaser or something. They weren't happy with that either. They're like, it all sounds the same. It all sounds, all I hear is everyone's music sounds the same now. And like, there's a, that's a good point. They have a point, you know? It's all like, I don't know.
Take me back. Take me back to the days of Dream and Eden's Crush. I don't need my pop bands to have a bunch of hits. I just need them to have one hit that you can't get out of your head forever.
No doubt.
Yeah, exactly. That to me, that's the mark of a good boy band. Or like, sure, you don't know who's singing. Sure, sometimes they're not even singing. Sometimes they're lip syncing. They're just focusing on the dancing because they're not the best dancers. But it's all about the music. Once you hear the song, you're like, I'm never gonna unhear this song. I'm always gonna hear this song. And like it just needs one. Yeah, I couldn't name 2 songs by Dream Street, but they existed. And I'll never forget them because they existed and they had a song. And so I think that's what we're looking for. Look, don't do that because you want to talk about a rant. I got a Jesse McCartney rant for you. Okay.
Let's hear it. Come on now.
No. Cause I was gonna say, cause She's No You, the remix is perfect. But anyway, I just feel like we have the opportunity now to make this bigger. And so Netflix, if you want to lean into this, you have plenty of like past pop stars, especially boy and girl group stars that are out there. They're still outside, y'all. And so they could use a job helping us build our pop bands back. I want them back, y'all. I'm sorry, I do. And so pour one out for Danity Kane and Day 26. I can only imagine how awful that was. But okay, it's been long enough. Enough time has passed, y'all. We need another one. So let's do it. Let's bring that back, and let's bring Lovina back to talk more about pop music. Lovina, this was so much fun.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. Also, just really quickly, we need Candy Burris back in the streets, because I feel like she was holding it down for everyone. The TLCs, the NSYNCs, like she was writing, producing down. Like, come on, like we need someone, either her or someone like her back, like something like her. But yes, I'm. Thank you so much for having me. I will always talk about this. I'm very passionate about this. Like, I feel like I turn up more for this than like anything else. I talk about Big Brother all the time, obviously, but I'm talking about it so much that I don't get to talk about this as much. So I'm like getting hot and like my face is like getting like red and I'm like, just like, I need to like stand up. But no, I love talking about this. Music is like everything to me.
Yeah, no, we definitely bond, you and I, on the music thing. I love it. Every time you bring up an old group or old like some songs, I'm like, sometimes I'll listen to a song and think like, let me just tell Lovina I'm listening to this song. Because what was it that day when we were talking about Digital Get Down? I was like, listen, y'all don't remember, y'all don't know, but Digital Get Down got me through some hard times. Okay, and it's just like, it's you understand, you were there. And so thank you so much for coming. I wouldn't have asked literally anybody else before asking you for this. Tell everybody where they can follow you, where they can find you, anything else you're working on.
I am covering Big Brother here on RHAP this season. I think I'm debuting for this season 27 next week, I believe. And then all of the social and video content on our platform. So yeah, and you can follow me on Twitter at lpavs with 2 S's. And Instagram.
Yes. Thank you so much for being here. Hopefully they come out with something else pop related so I can drag you back here to Nothing But Netflix again, or just find something else to talk about. We'll figure it out. And then everybody can make sure you subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already. Nothingbutpod.com will take you to that. You can subscribe to the podcast. Make sure you follow on all social media platforms at Nothing But RHAP to keep up with what we have coming up next on Netflix. But that's it. Thank you all for listening. Hopefully y'all enjoyed our commentary on building the band and on boy bands and girl bands alike. Tune in next time. We'll talk to you later. Peace.